Alright, Mardu Arcanist, Mardu tokens, whatever you want to call it. If you haven't seen this deck before, it's got a few different powerful things going on. The first is we've got Pyromancer and Goth Pyromancer with a plethora of cheap spells to generate tokens. We've got Leonin Lightscribe to pump up the GM on those, a very powerful amount. We've got Lightning Helix as reach/interaction. And we've got Dreadhorde Arcanist, which not only flashes all of these back, but this works very, very well alongside Silverquill Command. Because remember, Dreadhorde Arcanist flashes back spells that's less than or equal to his power. So what you do often is you'll use Silverquill Command to give your Arcanist +3/+3, pick a 2-drop back up from your bin, and then you'll attack, flash back Silverquill Command, and either get another +3/+3 to push damage, or you'll draw a card and return another creature to play, or make your opponent sacrifice a creature. So very often lets you generate 3-for-1s while also pushing damage via evasion. There's no new cards in this deck. We talked about during set review time, there's just not a lot of cards in the D&D set that are going to impact Historic. I don't think this deck really wants to play creature lands. I think we'd rather have Castle Ardenvale. It's also hard to justify fitting in monocolored lands in this mana base. I do think I want at least one basic for miscellaneous Field of Runes and Assassin's Trophies on occasion. So I do not. While creature lands are nice in mid-range decks, I think this deck prefers Castle Ardenvale because we're a Village Rites deck. Also works well with Leonin Lightscribe, but I don't have room to play other monocolored lands in the mana and still cast all our spells consistently. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games in a post-brainstorm world with this Mardu deck and see how it goes. Sure. So, a little sad that we have our Dragonskull Summit and can't discard spell on one, but hand's definitely a keep either way. They're a Wellspring deck, so let's find out if they are a food deck. Yeah. Yikes. Alright, well, we'll start here, I guess, then. I think this deck is not a good Faithless Looting deck, and I would not play it. That's why I don't have copies of it in here. This deck doesn't really play out of the graveyard for value other than Dreadhorde Arcanist, and Faithless Looting at its core is card disadvantage. I honestly don't know that we're going to be able to beat Cultured Familiar plus Witch's Oven. I guess we'll take Mayhem Devil for now, but there's a good chance we're just dead here. The food deck is very polarizing and good against creature decks like what we're playing here. I do what I can with the position that I've got, Panzer. Thanks for the support. I appreciate you keeping me around. Vamp Brainstorm with the 14 months. Was that a username change? I feel like I haven't seen that name sub before, but it's been for 14 months. Thanks for the 23 centers. Alright, so untapped land here is nice. We have to go ahead and Thoughtseize and take a Fatal Push, and then I get to play a Dreadhorde Arcanist out. Actually, if they go to sack the cat here, I can cling it, right? Okay, sweet. Sometimes lucky. Well, I mean, I guess I'll take the goose. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the format heads. The food deck was posting decent results before the Brainstorm ban. But if the food deck starts to become the most popular deck in the format again, I think we have some decent tools to push it back down. For example, more combo-focused decks like Dragonstorm tend to be very good into the food deck, so we can see a little bit of cyclicalness in the format. And discard-based disruptive decks like what we're playing should be good against Dragonstorm when now that they lack something like Brainstorm to recover after our discard spells. Isami, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. How is Jeskai Control versus food usually? I don't know. I don't play either of those decks. So I can't really speak to that matchup from either side. Jund Food. Jund Food specifically refers to the Jund Sacrifice deck, leveraging Trail of Crumbs as opposed to Collected Company, the smaller version. So the Jund Food is the bigger version that generates card advantage with Trail of Crumbs, and generally speaking plays the card Core Vault. I think I'm just flashing back a Cling to Dust here. I guess I could have flashed back a discard spell again. I like the implication that company players aren't greedy enough to play Core Vault. They usually don't. They usually don't. Alright, well they didn't play a land, so I'm going to go ahead and Inquisition here and see what they've got. Alright. Until they find a cat, we're in an okay spot. Thankfully, they don't have 5 looks at a cat this turn. That would put us in big trouble. This Triome is definitely a spell. There's the fake Cursed King. There is a Thoughtseize in my graveyard, so unless this mystery card is a... Kind of surprised they sacked the food at sorcery speed there. I guess they wanted to try and find a cat, but now I get to Thoughtseize their play here. Frosty Python, thanks for the follow, appreciate it. I'm gonna wait. Nah, I'm not. Let's do this now. We could draw Sedgemoor Witch or something. Put into play. Another land. Just 2. Probably going to flash back the Cling to Dust at end of turn. Nope, we're 1 card short. Yep, card short, JK. Our Arcanist has been eating up our graveyard a little bit. And, like, we're definitely a little bit ahead at the moment, but again, like, they're literally just, like, a cat away from being in this game. So reasoning behind Sedgemoor Witch over Luris, I think Sedgemoor Witch is better, and I already have a companion in the Wellspring. Not playing Luris also gives us flexibility to play things like Angrath and other bigger Planeswalker cards out of the sideboard. Generally speaking, you're newer here at U60, so I'll lecture you there for a second, but in general, if you'd like to ask why I'm not playing a particular card, I'd prefer that you instead tell me why I should play that card. Try and break down what benefit you see in that change or addition. Six mana draw 2, chat. Lurrus is a lot more popular in these types of decks. Call. Can you reference some deck lists from some recent tournaments that have been successful playing Lurrus? Because I'm very familiar with the tournament format, and I can tell you that none of those decks have been successful in a very long time. Alright, so Kaya's actually pretty good here. She deals with ovens, and she can occasionally tag stray cats. Maybe Vanishing Verse actually isn't good enough. It tags exactly food, and it's hard to tag cat with it. Fracture seems good. Definitely want to be able to take ovens off the table. Claim is tough into oven. Now, I think Claim's actually quite reasonable here, because if you claim their thing and they sacrifice it, like, that's still a win for you. You still killed their thing. Do I want the discard spells, or would I rather just play to the board? Silverquill Command could maybe be a trim. Making them sacrifice isn't particularly exciting. And they could be fighting over our graveyard post board, which makes the reanimate less good. Maybe try this. Can't even find this deck. The metagame breakdown of Goldfish, I'm not sure what a usual build to be. Yes, forever ago, there was a Rakdos Arcanist build that fell off. But again, that wasn't even a 3-color deck, that was a 2-color deck. Plus, chat, playing the Wellspring means that Angrath is the optimal planeswalker to play out of the sideboard. And Wellspring giving us an excuse to play Angrath is just strategically correct. Dream, thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. Red-Black Arcanist is decent on the ladder, and it's good fun to play. Alright, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Any deck you like playing is a decent choice to play on the ladder for the most part. The ladder is mostly people playing Magic for fun, and if you have fun playing a deck, you should play it on the ladder. I actually had a short thread about this on Twitter the other day, talking about, you know, there were a lot of people, and honestly, it was a little concerning, the people I saw coming from people that work at Wizards, where they were like, you know, we just didn't know what to do about Brainstorm, because, like, it's not dominant on the ladder, but it was dominant in all these tournaments, and all the pros kept registering Brainstorm. And it's like, yeah, most people are playing the ladder for fun, and they don't want to sit there and grind Blue-Red Phoenix, so they're just playing for fun. Tournament settings are always more indicative of what's actually good and bad in a format, as opposed to something like the ladder, where there's effectively no stakes. Atraxis! My flight got delayed 12 hours last night because they didn't offer vouchers for the flights delayed by weather. That's brutal. As someone who slept on many an airport floor when I was traveling, I feel you. Ward does at least impact abilities as well, so if they want to sacrifice 2 things to kill Sedgemoor Witch here, they have to pay 6. So we've got that going for us. Dark Goldfish, thanks for the follow. Good morning. I mean, the ladder does qualify you for the top 1,200 tournament, but there's so many people playing on the ladder that couldn't care less about that. I can't tell you. I've skipped almost every one of those I've qualified for, and most months I just don't even bother qualifying because I don't have an interest in playing it. Different people have different incentives when they're playing things. We got an Angrath about to happen here. Or, sorry, a Corvault about to happen here. The Bard deck was sweet. It's a lot of fun. Felt powerful and consistent. So, if we survive and take a hit from this Corvault, can this Angrath maybe steal the game by stealing the Corvault? That might be possible if we don't die next turn. If we don't die, could be a tall order, though. Mayhem Double with Corvault's real scary. So I could Sedgemoor to encourage them to deal more damage to themselves by targeting it. I could also Kaya plus exile their cat. Just gain a little bit of life and have be like, hey, look, a distraction. I think I'm into hey, look, distraction, Planeswalker.
A good bite. Notice I didn't say fair. Bye.
The rewards plateau hard at plat. Yeah, it's like one extra booster pack. You like basically get $2 extra. Cat gaining them some life here is not great for us. No fire, no steel. I like this deck. Angrath approves. This is an Angrath approved deck. So we're going to 13 here. And now they have a blocker and Goose, so I think we're dead. Yeah. Corvault just takes over these games hard. And the way and this is, you know, pretty typical mid-range deck problems. You look at this deck that I'm playing, I basically don't have answers to Corvault, right? Like, in fact, I think maybe these Thoughtseizes are supposed to be in my deck just because I'm that cold to it. I've got like a Noxious Grasp. And maybe if the food deck's going to pick up in popularity, that's a reason to play another Noxious Grasp so we have more Corvault answers. But like Vanishing Verse doesn't do it, our Helixes or whatever, Claim the Firstborn misses it. Kaya answers it technically, but it's pretty slow. There's a food deck matchup versus Phoenix. I don't know. And now nobody knows because Brainstorm's banned. Food was one of the most popular decks in the format before before what's banned? Brainstorm, so I imagine it will only get more popular. It's a Brainstorm ban, kill Phoenix. I don't think the Brainstorm ban makes any decks unplayable. I think it makes some of them worse, but... Do you have a Fatal Push? Sedge. Sedgemoor Witch having Menace, looking good in the face of Cat. Well then. I think I'm supposed to shock here, but it could be right to just play a tapped land and pass, so my life total's a little low as is. Okay. Well, Angrath's about to be really good here with them taking the slow approach.
Seen water burn?
I have seen water burn. Climate change is a hell of a drug, Angrath. All right, looks like we're gonna scrape through here on the back of our boy. Opponent trying to see if we'll trade so they can only pay 2 mana here, but... They've got a lot of card advantage set up here, but we're in a position that we should be able to race them, I imagine.
No fire, no steel.
And like, if Binding is their play next turn, we then have lethal with Claim the Firstborn. Sweet. Feels good to sneak out a bad matchup. Got him. Yeah, Angrath was very good there. Not only dealing damage to pressure their life total, but also clearing cards out of their hand that we otherwise would have had a hard time dealing with. Constrain their resources a bit for sure. A very, very useful way. I think I might want another Noxious Grasp or just way to kill Korvold. What miscellaneous third way to kill Korvold do we want on the sideboard? What do we think? Despark? I hate Despark. Could be okay. Replace Fracture with Despark. Hate that. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Probably want to hit land drops. Let's bottom the Claim the Firstborn in the dark. Double Skycleave Apparition. They don't have... They don't have a second white yet. And because we're on the play, we're going to get to flashback Thoughtseize before they get to Skyclave us. So I think we just take their threats that we care about. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take Ruinous here. To the person that I timed out, by the way, for telling me that you would cut Vanishing Verse instead of Fracture. I timed you out because you gave no justification, but I also just disagree with you. And this deck is one that's very good, that Vanishing Verse is very, very good against. Vanishing Verse is also better against Skrull. Bringing in Fracture against Skrull is quite mediocre, whereas bringing in Vanishing Verse is quite reasonable. I'll like having a bunch of different answers so I can blame variants when I draw the wrong one. God bless. I'm cantripping this. Feels bad to exile a card from our own graveyard with it, because it means we're further away from escaping it, but... And then they're pretty unlikely to play this out naked next turn, so I can wait a turn on this Inquisition. And I want to use my 5 mana here, cast my Moose. They could actually be unlucky here, and this could not be Collected Company. They are only 2 turns off of flashing back Amaria's Call. Companion looking great here. Okay, they're gonna have some Angels next turn. Do I flashback Cling on my own Inquisition looking for a way to kill this Land War Elf, or Thoughtseize to take the Amaria's Call? I think so. I'm confused why they didn't block there, but I'll take it, I guess. And a trade here or a free block into here. Maybe they missed that this was free. They're dead, right? They block these and they... Nope, we're 1 short. Sedge. These don't have Vigilance, and we're technically not dead to these, so I guess I pass? Man, where was this last turn? Because the Archon of Amaria here means I can't... I can't flash it back. So do I just, like, jump the moose and smack them? Like, force a jump? If I jump the moose and smack them, next turn they have 8, 11, 14 in the air? No, I think I make something fly and make them sacrifice one of their flyers on a block. And so, the elf sack here... Yeah, I feel like my opponents played this game too defensively. The elf sack here... if my opponent would have kept the elf, they actually would have killed us with an untapped land. Alright, another cycle. Silverquill Command, ladies and gentlemen. Silverquill Command. They match up where? Verse is very good. Angrath is good. Noxious Grasp, obviously stellar. Cling to Dust is pretty bad. Discard spells not great. Honestly, a couple of shocks are probably fine. They kill elite spellbinders and Skyclave apparitions. I think I'm fine leaving in a couple of Inquisitions. I don't love them in the late game, but like they're fine. They're fine early game, right? Seems more than reasonable. I think 3 5-mana Planeswalkers probably a little bit too many, especially on the draw. Maybe we'll board the Kaya in for when we're on the play. This is where the magic happens. All things considered, our 5 is pretty good here. Till a Skyclave apparition is here. Sedge. I want to Helix this eventually anyways, and Helixing it now means that Ronus can't attack me this turn, so... Interesting sequencing on their land there. Alright, Wellspring. I need you to have a strong back here. That's pretty good. Okay. I'm not dead yet. It's a shame this wasn't like a Pyromancer or a Witch. If we were making tokens while we were killing their stuff, we'd be in a very good spot. Yeah, Silverquill Command's a card I'm definitely excited to explore in Best of 3 Standard when the format rotates. Like, it really shines these mid-range style shell, but mid-range decks just struggle a little bit in the current Best of 1 environment if they're not proactive enough. Alright, 2 good ones, please. Well, I mean, that's one good one, right? Any creatures are in my bin? None! They've been really good at having a Marius call. These things are indestructible here. Which is big sad. Wasn't bad considering we mulliganed to 5. The opponent's draw was very good. It's beyond the play for game 3 here. I think I do want Kaya. The fact that she gets rid of Veronis is a nice upside too. I trim an Arcanist. He has a hard time attacking in sometimes. And we trimmed Thoughtseize, which makes Arcanist a little bit worse. Yeah, if they hadn't had call there, we'd have won on the spot when they attacked. They probably wouldn't have attacked with the 2-2, but the other 2 would have attacked, and then we would have gotten them for sure. Nice. Solid curve here. Discard spell this, tapped land this. Man, kind of want to take Lane Whirls. Their deck is their draw is just so slow without it. I mean, like, I'm not hoping that they don't draw mana so much as I'm just like slowing them down a pretty significant amount here, right? Like, it's expected that they're going to draw some lands, but, like, if they honestly know 1 or 2 drop is really good for us, right? He says as they draw the best 2 drop in their deck. So, I think we just gotta pressure with this. Just kind of cycle through. So, I draw, you sacrifice. This dark's alright. I think I prefer Standard 22 as a format overall. But I think it's bad. It's just nice to have multiple formats that are reasonable. It's been a long time since we've had a good lower power level constructed format in Magic, so it's really refreshing to have that in Standard 2022. Angrath's a banger draw here. They also missed a land drop, which is nice. This gets sacrificed at end of turn because it costs 3 or less. Happy to double block. Oh, man. That might be the game.
No steam.
taking the elf and they stumble. They hit the 2-drop on 2, but they stumbled on lands.
If you want a job done right, hire 2.
No fire, no
No
steel.
steel. Hey, the gang's all here.
You'll be fine. Trust me.
Okay.
No fire, no steel.
So we take the last card out of their hand. We do this. We do this. Put another Kaya counter on this.
Well, you're not locking for spirit.
Her +1's really sweet in these creature matches. Hey, you got a large skews. The opponent does appear to be very dead. Out! Her minus is incredible. Minus is like fine. It's about what you expect from a 5-mana planeswalker. Killing with people with Angrath is very satisfying. He's one of the few planeswalkers that's got an animation on basically every activation, which is great. I feel like one thing Arena's done worse as it's gotten older is we don't have animations on nearly as many new cards anymore. I feel like a lot of the older stuff, when they were first starting out, they had a lot more animations on things. Excuse me? Village Rites, please. Maybe extras. I mean, the people doing animations for cards shouldn't be the same people doing, like, development stuff, right? Those should be completely separate camps. I'd wager it's just they decided they didn't want to keep investing the money into it. Someone did a cost-benefit analysis and concluded that they didn't think it was worthwhile.
My allies are counting on me.
Okay, the opponent is currently short mana, and I don't have anything else to do this turn, so I'm actually going to go ahead and Silverquill, make them sack the elf. We draw a card. Our opponent's just playing Bant things they like.
Some solutions must be built.
Must be built. And we, on the other hand, are drawing cards that don't have text boxes. I have found their firstborn, chat, and I shall claim him as my own. Nice! That actually hit. I just wanted to see what their last card was. He's mine!
I will be better prepared next time.
To be fair, a Boreal Grazer was like doing things like Oko and Field of the Dead, so. So I need to leave a token back. Actually, I think I'm just leaving all these back. So I'm only pushing 1 damage by attacking with this. And I don't want to... I don't want to attack with everything, because if they Karn, they could hit me with the God Pharaoh statue for 6. Hey, good games, that hot. I think you could have been more aggressive in our first game that we played. But otherwise seems pretty reasonable. They just copied their Drain Us for 1 trigger. That's hilarious. They're actually dead, chat. Need to draw Lightning Helix.
Our actions determine the course of history. I am not frightened by them. Stand down.
Well, chat, I think we're gonna die because we don't have any spells, and two of the spells we did have weren't particularly good for the matchup. Claim the Firstborn let us push on their Planeswalker at one point, but yeah, Hydra increases off the top. My tactical sideboard plan for this next game is going to be drawing spells. It's a bold strategy, but somebody's got to attempt it on occasion. We were 1 short of killing them there. Did you calculate the fact that they had a Redain shield that was minusing 1 damage off all of my stuff? Nope. Yeah, I didn't think so. How about cutting the land since we flooded? Big mood. Actually, these claims might be better than the Cling to Dust, because they have a bunch of Hydroid Crisis. Giving haste store things on occasion isn't terrible. Well, I guess we'll bottom the Blightstep Pathway. Thanks for 17 months, Jebediah. Welcome back. Well, if we can hit an untapped land here. JK, LOL, we can't target them. They're playing a 60-card deck. The Winding Road. Thanks for the 23 months. I appreciate it. If we can spike an untapped land, the Silverquill Command is going to mess them up. Ozolith with Crystalline Giant is adorable.
There is great power in the things we make.
What's going on, Spreada? Thanks for the 19 months. So decks am I looking forward to rotating the most? I don't really know that I have an answer to that because I haven't really been playing Standard. I think I draw a card here, right? We'll make them sacrifice another creature and we'll pick up a card so we can find land number 5. That would be great. Never lucky. Thanks for repping the Prime. Welcome back. Leland. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Right on schedule. We need to move quickly.
Untapped land would actually kind of still be nice so we can check for a counterspell. Didn't have one last turn though, so... And I'm definitely just YOLOing this, right? The Ozolith has Death Touch, Lifelink, First Strike, Menace, and Flank. That's great. Silverquill Command, punching the clock and going to work here. Getting to see some of that power with Dreadhorde Arcanist that we talked about during the deck tech. What's the saying? Third Silverquill commands the charm. Maskwood Nexus. Opponent really is out here just like living their best life. huge Blaze. Thanks for the 29 months. Well, they were dead technically even if they had Hexproof, right? Alright, am I adjusting how we're sideboarded? No, I think we have all of our stuff in. And I want to have in. They have Crystalline Giant. Maybe I'm supposed to have Lightning Helix in my deck because of Crystalline Giant. I don't know that it's better than any of my... Oh, did it have Lifelink? You might be right. Yeah, I think I was clicking submit. Less than 4 characters. Thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. It did. Think we bought a Angrath with only 2 lands. Untapped lands, exactly what you want to see. I was gonna have to choose between Duress on 1 and Whale Shoot. Hey, Alex, thanks for the biddies. That's very generous of you. Reach. Yep. Okay. Well, opponent's got plenty of mana established. Yeah, Grazers insulate them from our Silverquill Command. It's actually pretty good for them. See how long we can dodge Hexproof on this. Unfortunate that we have 2 more lands and neither of them can be untapped on 4. So I think we go tapped land Moose here. Because this doesn't have hexproof yet. So I just want to guarantee Kaya here to exile this. This is their last resource.
Just gotta hunt how hard? That was an easy job.
Sure, Wargy. I think that's probably a deck that's better suited for best of 1, though. I feel like I'd be surprised if that's competitive when people are bringing in extra stuff post-board to hate on you. I'm gonna attack with this to make a 1/1. Obviously, their hand is empty.
I'm known for my hurry.
So we'll do this. And remember, chat, in this giant wall of text that is Dreadhorde Arcanist, he has Trample. So we're going to send these here, flash this back, get rid of another blocker. And then they could double block Arcanist, but their Teferi's going to go to 1. Teferi dies with these blocks, but they keep Greaser, so I think they should probably double block the Dreadhorde Arcanist. Yeah. Maybe they missed that Arcanist has Trample. Letting Teferi die and keeping your Arboreal Greasers is a bold choice. Alright, let's end this game. Draw a card. The second one, so I'm gonna get rid of their blocker. There is a chance that their deck has sweepers in it. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power. I guess this is lethal if they brick though, so we'll play it. I have a moose left over if they draw Wrath of God. Yeah, the range of cards their deck could have could be anything, so... Silverquill Command is going to need to see a chiropractor after this match, right? Definitely. Definitely carried for us. This is your first time seeing this deck. That means you haven't checked out the various historic decks that are up on my website. Some of them do still need updates. There's a couple of brainstorm decks up there still that I'm going to be cleaning up this weekend, but in general, great source for finding historic decks that are a little bit off the beaten path that are sorted by power level. There are also videos up there of me playing most of the decks so you can get a feel for what the deck looks like in action before you commit any of your own resources to building it. Futurist, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Oh yeah, that's true. The Arcanist will be left over because of the Ghost Form token. Forgot about that. Sometimes your mulligan decisions are interesting. This is not one of those times. If you'd like to see my reaction to the brainstorm bans, I've got a nice 15-minute or so rant right here. The TLDR is that I'm glad they came to the correct decision, even if it seems like they came to it in an incorrect manner. A broken clock strikes the right hour twice per day. I mean, the gain 4 wasn't for no value, right? This Cosmos Elixir here is going to start popping off, drawing them cards. Well, we'll start here now, I suppose. Look at how good friends the Pest and the Elemental are, chat. Archie Yang, thanks for the follow. Good afternoon. Actually kind of terrifying. Can I get a Lightning Helix? I mean, that could be anything. Am I supposed to shock this in because I could draw Claim the Firstborn? I think the answer is yes. These are Menace, so we should hopefully get to push a little bit of damage here. You want to keep them off of making angels with this next turn, ideally. Oh, Master, thanks for the 21 months. Yikes. Alright, so they're going to have arbitrarily large amounts of life as our deck gets to function now. Okay. And the Selfless Savior kind of just means we're in a terrible spot, right? Because, like, I can't even peel one removal spell to get out of this. Because if I peel a removal spell, they get to sack the dog to save whatever I'm targeting. Farun, thank you for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is where Magic the Gathering occurs. Right here on your screen. I think attacking all is probably wrong. I'm going to attack with these Sedgemoor Witches, though. Yeah. I probably should have attacked with one of them last turn. The moose is loose, chat. Top of their deck has been much better than ours. Okay. I already played a land for the turn, so I can't play this. Yikes. so if I cast Thoughtseize, they get to activate Speaker of the Heavens next turn, so I guess I'm passing. Yeah, the fact that the Lyra means I can't attack anymore is rough. Yeah, the Switch release is basically an open beta so far ahead. It's very clearly, like, just them getting people in to, like, try things out before they release fully on mobile. Mobile's certainly the bigger platform. B-Mac, thanks for the 45 months. It's a long time. Welcome back. Oh, they forgot to do the thing. Deal. This is actually a really good draw. Because it's my 6 card in my graveyard, so I get gain 6 here. What's on Switch? Pokemon Unite, the new Pokemon MOBA. It is in fact a very silly board state. You just made my boomer ass Google MOBA. Listen, chat. MOBAs are really old. Like they've existed for a long time. Like when was Dota on Warcraft 3? When did that mod release? It's gotta be close to 20 years, right? Or more? Oh, I never got into PC gaming. Okay, fair. We tried, chat. We tried. We gave it our all. Today's this match and the match before this really feel like good examples of why people love Magic as a game, in that even decks like this opponent's can crush something like what we're playing when things break their way. And that type of anybody has any chance in any match that they sit down at is a big part of the appeal of games like this, for sure. I think Faithless Looting is bad in this deck. I think you're a typical member of Twitch chat that you came in here and recommended Faithless Looting in this game where I happened to flood out. Guess what? Unless I'm going to be cutting lands for Faithless Looting, which I think that's probably a bad idea, I wouldn't have drawn Faithless Looting to be able to filter anyways. So I get it that the knee-jerky, Jeff, you just got unlucky, you should change your deck because you got unlucky. Like, you will make your decks significantly worse if you jerk your knee and change your deck every time you get a little bit unfortunate in a game of Magic. Magic has so much variance in it. This deck's only playing 23 lands, and I have 3 utility lands in 23 lands. So yeah, sometimes you're going to flood in your 20 land deck. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. I can't tell you the number of times I've watched a streamer and they like put a land or add a land every time they flood or screw, and I just have to change the channel. It's just like, good lord. It's okay to lose matches of Magic, chat. No matter what you do, you're going to lose a good number of matches, and especially games. That's good enough. This probably isn't good enough, right? I'm missing white mana. I don't have a third land. Yeah, this is decent. Honestly, I'm going to be a little greedy and bottom the Despark, I think, and keep my threats here on the play. Nice. So I'll be able to Witch into Shock next turn, make a bunch of friends. Clean this pupper out. So long, pup. And honestly, too, just to talk about Faithless Looting from another aspect of why I think it's not worthwhile to include in this deck. Something that frequently happens with this archetype is people board in Graveyard Hate against you already. And playing another card that's bad against Graveyard Hate is not great. One of the reasons, someone asked about a comparison to this deck to the Red-Black Glarus decks earlier, and I think one of the reasons why this deck is decent while the Red-Black Glarus deck has largely fallen off and felt mediocre when I've played it is because this deck doesn't just roll over to things like Relic and Rest in Peace. Thanks, Lux. I appreciate you watching. Alright, so I think this Silverquill Command is like Edict You, draw a card. And I should wait to play this land so we could draw a tapped land I might want to play. Penny, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. And, like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you have a pet card like Faithless Looting that you love playing and you want to play it in this deck, like, that's fine. You know, Magic's a game you should play for fun, make yourself happy. But, like, don't come back into my chat constantly harping on something I've already given you topics about. Yeah, it's just so people coming from modern Rip Brainstorm, where you incidentally got a lot of graveyard value for free in a lot of decks, skewed a lot of people's views on Brainstorm as a card. Because Faithless Looting as a card. Because Faithless Looting is really good when you're, like, incidentally playing out of your graveyard. And if you looked at a lot of the Faithless Lootings If you look at a lot of the Faithless Looting decks that were in Modern, like, a lot of them were playing things like Lingering Souls, for example, which we don't have here. Has Thoughtseize stock increased a bunch? No. Chat, so if there's one thing I can hammer home for all of you at home about this Brainstorm ban is Wizards of the Coast was right in that Brainstorm wasn't really overrepresented on the ladder, and the ladder's probably not meaningfully going to change for most people with Brainstorm removed. Almost all of the decks that were playable while Brainstorm was legal are still playable. all of the decks that were playable against them are still playable. Like, the latter is mostly people play. Chat, we are literally playing against mono white angels with Cosmos Elixir. I promise you that this player was very likely still playing mono white angels with Cosmos Elixir while Brainstorm was legal. Because they're just following their heart. Because most people are just playing games for fun and chilling. Yeah, and they're in Mythic, right? Like, it's not like we're in Bronze, right? Like, this person's played a ton of Magic, and they've won a bunch of Magic with their deck. Espen Joris, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. Does the Brainstorm ban make Historic more enjoyable for me personally? I mean, incidentally, I've gotten Memory Lapse slightly less, so that's a huge improvement. I guess not to discourage people, but just to, like, impose upon you a sense of reality and understanding of how these formats work. If you're someone that wasn't super high on Historic before the Brainstorm ban, it's not gonna be, like, the thing I'm trying to tell you is, part of the reason why Brainstorm was a good ban is because it brings down the power levels of the best decks, but, like, the format fundamentally isn't changing that much with that ban. And that's fine, that's a good thing. I still think it was a good thing to remove, but you should also acknowledge that, like that's one of the reasons why Wizards was slow to react, right? Because their setting is casual. And most people are playing for fun. The tryhards, whatever small faction of tryhards there are, will stop playing Izzet Phoenix and play something else. But most people are keep playing the same stuff they were playing before. Which, people saying they were just tired of it, that's honestly part of the reason why Standard tends to be a very popular format when it's good and doing what it's intended to do, because people like formats that change. Does this let me get a decent attack in, or should I be waiting? I don't know. I could grab this Youthful Valkyrie and crack them. I could also, like, just attack with Wellspring and make a token this turn. I think I'm gonna just attack with Wellspring and make a token this turn, and maybe we'll set up for a big attack next turn. We could peel something like a Village Rites too to make this Claim the Firstborn really good. Sean, thanks for the brand new sub. Welcome to the channel. Lyra is scary. They don't have a puppet least, so we've got some okay live draws, but we need to stop drawing lands. Clearly need to cut lands out that we've flooded 2 games in a row. Are even actually that flooded though? Oh, Lyra gave everything lifelink and now they have more angels. Alright, I assume we're dead at this point. I think we had a window to be okay here, but well, shit. I don't know if that's good enough. So this, we don't have the trigger for this. So I could take this, and I could take this. And then we have 5, 6, 7, 12. Yeah, we're still real short. I think we're just dead.
You're just fuel for the fires of freedom.
Not anywhere near enough here. They get their things back and we die. Yikes. Alright, I think losing to Mono White Cosmos Elixir is my cue to sign off of Magic for the day. Yeah. That deck's fine. Oh, I don't really have any changes. I think the mixture of removal that we have in our sideboard is something you could play with. There's ups and downs to Vanishing Verse versus Fracture versus Despark. Do you want shocks? Are there enough small creature decks for this to be worthwhile? I think Helix is still good. I mean, I wasn't even talking shit. I was just pointing out the fact that, like, you could show up with something like Mono White, something that's never posted a result anywhere, and playing off-meta cards like Cosmos Elixir, and still win against someone that's put a lot of thought and work into a deck that's more of a meta deck. Like, that's why people play Magic. Like, there's so many deck building options in Magic, and Magic has enough variance between flooding and curve and everything else that goes into it that your pile of stuff can be competitive against anyone playing anything at any given point. You can be playing against the literal world champion playing the best deck in a format, and you can pick up games with your random brew. That's a feature, it's not a bug. You always see Magic players complaining about, things like flood and screw, but I think a lot of them aren't honest with themselves. And honestly, to use a comparison, I think a big part of why a lot of people bounce off of other games like Runeterra is because Runeterra has less variance than Magic. I think a lot of people aren't upfront and honest with themselves about how much they enjoy Magic as a game because they get freebies or because their opponent ends up being behind some amount of the time. And obviously there's lots of other reasons to enjoy Magic too, like Magic is easily the best deck building card game that's ever existed in terms of the amount of ways you can mix and match cards and stuff like that, but it's also important to acknowledge like the variance aspect of it too, I think. I'm just as bad as Magic as I am at chess, but I play Magic so I can suck and still win games. Yeah, and it's, I agree. And again, like, people often talk about, like, honestly, I love Muxus as a jam. Muxus is a great example, right? Like, there's a lot of people that complain about a card like Muxus, but, like, there's plenty of people that love playing cards like that, and that's why they show up and sleeve up Magic in the morning and show up and play. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it too. People bounce off of new games because they're pot committed to things too, but I definitely think the part of the reason why people stick with Magic and get pot committed is because of the variance element. Alright, at any rate, that's going to wrap up Magic for me for today. I think I'm taking this weekend off. think I'm going to do another weekend. Weekends on the summer especially are kind of slow, so I think I'm going to be off on Magic until Monday. Monday we'll be doing some Modern in the morning, and I think what we did today is about my plan. Moving forward, we'll do one Modern deck, and then we'll do one Standard 22 deck and one Historic deck. Just get a good bit of variety in the Magic content, and then we're going to continue doing some actual variety stuff in the afternoon. So I'm not signing off for the day. If you want to hang out, we are playing through Uncharted 2 on the PlayStation. If you like big explosions and chases and shoot 'em outs, we're going to be doing that while we chase down some hidden treasure.